And that's the times that we're in, you know. Wars, rumors of wars, famines, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. We know what time it is. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kadash, double owners, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who are teaching this truth in sincerity. And a shout out to the Akims out there in four corners of the earth who claim this truth. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kadash, Barak Them. So here it is, man. I mean, look at the title, Time of Famine and a Time of War. That's exactly where we're at. The tremendous suffering that we are seeing all over the world right now is now only just the beginning. As repeatedly documented, we are in the midst of world global food crisis, all being done on purpose. We haven't seen this in many countries engaged in military conflict since World War II. Yeah, because the second woe was passed, and behold, the third woe coming quickly. Now we know we're in those times that Yahweh Shai told us that we'd be in, right? In other words, this is a time of famine and it's a time of war. This represents a major problem for those that believe that humans are intrinsically good and that humanity is moving into a golden era of peace and prosperity. Well, that's what the 501c3 church might tell you. That's what Nate might tell you. You know, but that's not what we'll tell you. If humans are intrinsically good, why is there so much evil around us? Of course, the truth is that evil that we see all around the world is a product of the evil in Esau, because human hearts, aka Esau. Esau is the reason why there is so much war, so much famine, so much greed, so much corruption, and so much suffering. You know, especially with the 1% of Esau, which is Amalek. Where billionaires in the world live, the high life, vast hordes of people on the other side of the planet are literally starving to death. Yeah, the 1% are just living up while the 99% suffer. It just kind of gives you a list. Hey, people ain't doing too good here in Babylon either. You see them on the streets all the time, homeless. You know, and what does this government do? Pass more draconian laws that it's illegal to be homeless. Well, where they got to go? Isn't it their, hijacking the rent and everything that caused them to be homeless to begin with? A lot of people out in the street never thought they would be out in the street, but were, because they were living paycheck to paycheck. But it's a joke. Your paycheck doesn't even pay all your rent, Your spouse has to also work. And then that may not be your only job. You might be working 2 or 3 jobs. Israeli airstrike on Gaza safe zone kills dozens, local authorities. Massive airstrikes in southern Gaza left at least 90 dead and hundreds wounded, the Hamas Health Ministry claimed. The Israeli Defense Forces said on Saturday that it carried out an airstrike on 2 senior Hamas officials and additional officials who had allegedly been hiding among civilians in southern Gaza. That's what they claim anyways. And they do throw the name terrorists, but the only terrorists are those Israelis. The attack was concentrated on Al-Moswa coastal area adjacent to the city of Khan Yunis, where the IDF had previously designated safe zone for displaced people. The strike inflicted heavy civilian casualties with at least 90 killed and nearly 300 injured, according to Gaza Health Ministry. And there's more on that here. Children in pieces, Israeli airstrike on Gaza refugee camp kills 90, injures 300. And there's more here.
So you mean to tell me that these rock throwers are the terrorists? That this is definitely a terrorist group. I can see that it is, right? Yeah. But this is what Amalek does. The only terrorism being committed here is by those punk asses that call themselves, I will just say small hats for YouTube's sake. Or we can just say Amalek because that's who they are.
resistant to everything they do. What do you think they're planning? What do you think the Jade Helm practice drills were all about? Palestinian resistance movements condemn Israelis' horrific massacre at Mawasi. The Palestinian resistance movement and Islamic Jihad has strongly condemned the horrific massacre committed by the Israeli state in the Al-Maswa refugee camp near southern Gaza city of Khan Yunis, blaming the international community for the continuation of the regime's genocidal war in the besieged enclave. Which, like everything else though, is that they're not going to do anything about it, you know, because again, you know, NATO and the U.S. are one, and they defend the Israeli state no matter what. Horrific massacre committed by the Zionist entity in Al-Maswa near Khan Yunis is an insistence on continuing the war of extermination against the Palestinian people, the group said. So, like everything else though, you can see even more dead bodies everywhere. And that's what they do. The only terrorists in the world are those Israelis. U.S. British warplanes launch heavy retaliatory attacks on Yemen. Well, you could say all Edomites for that matter, but Amalek especially. U.S. and U.K. warplanes launched several strikes on Hodeida International Airport in western Yemen in the overnight and early Friday hours. U.S. British aircraft targeted Hodeida International Airport with 3 raids, a security source told Yemen's Saba news agency. The renewed attacks came after several prior U.S.-UK attacks on Yemen Thursday. American and British terrorist jets launched 5 raids on various Ansarullah sites in Ras Lassa area, which included oil berth affiliated with the port of Al Senaf, north to Hodeida. A local source in the western Hodeida province told Sputnik on Thursday. So, you know, more terrorism from Israeli state and their cahoots, NATO, along with the U.S. terrorists. More than 100 martyrs, victims of 2 new massacres by the occupation in Gaza. The Israeli occupation committed 2 new massacres in the Gaza Strip, claiming the lives of 101 martyrs. Wafa agency reported the occupation aircraft launched successful raids targeting Al-Mawasa area west of Khan Yunis, you know, the same area. In the beach camp west of Gaza City, the occupation committed another massacre, leaving 22 martyrs and dozens wounded. The 2 massacres are in addition to the more than 3,390 massacres committed by the occupation during the Iraqi war of genocide and cleansing in full of the whole world, which claimed 38,443 martyrs and 88,481 wounded, according to Palestinian Ministry of Health. And you know it's a lot worse than that. Those are just the figures that they can count. There's too many dead bodies underneath buildings to count all the deaths. And like everything else though, prophecy is speaking. Europe's capitals will be targeted, vows Vladimir Putin, as he warns U.S. deployment of missiles to Germany will spark World War III. You know, and it's a promise he's planning on keeping. See if there's any talking. It's just looks like there it is. All right.
Чрезвычайно провокационная. Мы видим заявления представителей некоторых столиц, там, из Лондона и так далее, которые уже не видят никаких ограничений в этом плане. Мы видим страны, которые еще стараются какой-то баланс все-таки держать и говорить, что они против такой либерализации режима использования этих дальнобойных ракет.
Yeah, this seems to want to play something else. Well, you get the general idea. And like everything else, though, this going on as well as in Arizona. Wildfire ravages Apache Reservation in Arizona. So we'll play some of that. Yeah, burn it all. Babylon the Great will be set ablaze. Not too distant from now. As you can see, all the men of war drawing near, coming up in that valley.
That's dry vegetation from the previous rains allowed it to happen. Now it's coming here. It is coming here. Yes. We still have lightning, dry lightning here.
Yeah, they're going to claim dry lightning strikes.
Oh,
but
gosh, my neighbor's
we know of other types of weapons they use to control.
This inferno here is intense.
Let's just say that this is deliberate. That's what Esau does, because you already know about the Rothschild plan to burn people out. Judge throws out Alec Baldwin manslaughter case. The charges stem from a 2021 fatal shooting incident on film set. So this case has been dismissed, you know, that's other highlights. New Mexico judge dismissed involuntary manslaughter charges against Hollywood actor, ruling that the prosecution withheld crucial evidence, so they got the case thrown out. So
we begin with breaking news. The involuntary manslaughter trial against Alex Baldwin has just been dismissed. This video shows Baldwin exiting the courtroom in New Mexico where the trial was being held right after the announcement was made. NBC4's Ted Chen joins us now with more breaking news developments. Ted.
Kathy Annabelle, this was a ruling on a motion Alec Baldwin's team filed at the end of court yesterday. They accused the prosecution of withholding evidence, live rounds that were brought to police that they say could have revealed where the bullet that killed Helena Hudgens came from. The judge agreed, and Baldwin broke down.
The sanction of dismissal is the only warranted remedy. The jury has been sworn, jeopardy has attached, and a mistrial would not be based upon manifest necessity. Further, the sanction of dismissal is warranted in this case. The state has repeatedly made representations to defense and to the court that they were compliant with all their discovery obligations. Despite their repeated representations, they have continued to fail to disclose critical evidence to the defendant.
So, like everything else, though, he is acquitted, but, hey, you know, just like that stupid slap of Will Smith, you know, because the other guy said he'd fuck his wife, you know, they'll just keep on making a big deal out of nothing, right? Kind of like the bullshit between Trump and Biden, as if those two fucks make any difference anyways. America will be burned by nuclear fire, and there's nothing either one can do about it. So it really doesn't matter which one of those pundits become president, or wear the clown suit, that is. Houston area residents frustrated as they enter the 6th day without power and air conditioning. Oh man, these spoiled people want air conditioning. Well, you got to be pretty rich to be able to afford air conditioning on your fucking bill every month. Well, like everything else, well, they ain't got shit, you know. And look at the very front, it's Jake. Of course it's Jake. I bet you them goddamn Edomites on the other side, man, they got their shit going. Jake neighborhoods are usually the ones punished, right? Hundreds of thousands of Southeast Texas residents are entering the 6th day in a row, suffering brutal heat without air conditioning, which is a luxury. It's for rich people. And many are scrambling to find cool shelters, food, safe drinking water, and healthcare resources. Oh wow, sounds like what's going on in Gaza, doesn't it? More than 760,000 power customers in Southeast Texas remain without power after Hurricane Beryl slammed the Gulf Coast Monday, leaving at least 10 people dead in Texas, 2 dead in Vermont, and 1 dead in Louisiana. So, like everything else, they're going to control this crisis. They never let a good crisis go to waste. You know, and that's just it. Problem, reaction, solution, right? So people will just run to FEMA, run to Esau Edom, you know, for answers. And, well, that's going to get a lot of you 2/3 killed, because that's exactly what they want you to do, is run to your FEMA centers. You know, beg them for help, beg them for mercy. But there's going to be something that you got to do in order to get that help, right? Something that you got to submit yourself to. Hey, you don't think that when MOTB is made mandatory that they're not going to, you know, use these crises? Oh, absolutely they're going to create more crises, more chaos, right? Of course they will, so you be begging for it, because you be ostracized from society anyways, right? But everything's leading towards that day. You know, we're getting closer and closer, right? You know, so as we get closer and closer to it, well, the more things will be accelerated. So as the New World Order convinces, right? This is what, you know, John saw. Revelation chapter 13, verse 15. You have power to give life unto the image of the beast, which is the New World Order. You know, you can call it the World Economic Forum. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that his biddy would not conform to the image of the beast should be killed. You know, that is, would not conform to their ways. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive an implant in their hand or in their foreheads, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the implant, or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And I say it that way because you can't say the other words. You can say MOTB, but they don't really want you to say other things if you're here on YouTube, as I've been trying to be for the last few days. You know, I haven't been on YouTube for a long time because, well, you know, the censorship and just, hey, every time I tried it kept coming down. So this is the first time in a while that they've stayed up. But I have longer versions of these videos on the other 3 formats, which are in the description box down below. You know, and like everything else though, we're just measuring the time diligently in and of itself. So hopefully this has been edifying. For that I want to say Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Kakadash, Wa Abal Babal. Brakathum, Jehovah Shalom.